Today I'm going to make a pork rib with green beans. Hello. Good day everyone. At first I'm going to chop my garlic. And I'm going to chop my tomatoes, but before that I usually taking out all the seeds. I don't know, but I'm very particular about my cooking and I don't quite like the tomato seeds, so I normally every time if I cook with tomato I take the seeds out of it, and then I'm going to chop that into cubes. To be honest, frankly speaking guys, I'm really very particular about my cooking. I don't know, but that's the way I am. It's very simple way of cooking. And then next I'm going to chop my onion as well. I didn't really use the whole onion, not that big, but I just chopped enough to what I really needed because I don't cook that much. So I just use like a 3/4 parts of the onion, cut it into cubes or like chop it. And then this is the way how I do it. I don't need to have to reboil or whatever. I just wash my green beans, rinse it 2 times, and then I put like a tablespoon of salt and squeeze it and rub it around, like squeeze it or just rub it around to work out with it to the green beans, and then set aside. And then this is how I really clean my meat. Every time you see my cooking, I normally do this way because I don't know, I really don't like the poultry taste or like smell of my food. So normally I rub it with salt, rinse it, and then I'm going to rinse it again with hot water. So this is the first batch of like rinsing my pork ribs in hot water. Drain it, but make sure you need to be very careful because the bowl is hot because I'm using a boiling water. And this is the second time of rinsing it with hot water again. So see how very I don't know, that's how the way I cook. And I love to cook my own food because I knew exactly how clean, It's very simple cooking, but I love it the way how I don't know, it's really a thick skin, but that's how really I do my cooking. So that second batch I didn't really clean it up properly, so I need to redo it again to get really, get rid of all those like not like that raw blood around it. So rinse it again and then transfer into a plate and rinse with cold water. So it's just to get rid of all those when you wash the meat and it kind of like that don't know, the blood or something that cooks out and it bubbles up. That's why I really don't like it. So got to rinse it with cold water. You may think that my meat is really, there's no more taste or whatever, but I rather do that way than to eat meat with like, that smell when you bite it or when you inhale it or something. That while you're eating, you can inhale the poultry the smell of it. So I really don't like it. No matter how tasty your food, if the meat is smelly, I don't like it. So that's really, I'm very particular about my cooking. Yeah. So now this is another steps. It's my vegetables. Every time I wash my green leafy vegetables, I normally put at least a tablespoon of salt in my water before I dip in all my green veggies. And this is the bitter gourd. I don't know, but I love putting bitter gourd in my vegetables, but in some certain cooking, yeah. So you need to slice it really thinly. You need to cut into half first, take all the seeds in the middle, scrape it, and then slice it really thinly. I'm not a chef, but I just love to cook, and I just like to experiment everything. It's a very simple cook. So now here's the process. We need to heat the pot. I'm using a what do you call that? If you all like think that I'm using a pressure cooker, but I don't. It's a pot only. It's a pressure cooking pot because that's the only pot available that I got, because we got to leave this house really soon. So I heat the pot, put a little bit of oil, and then put my chopped onion in, and then stir it, fry until like just soft and caramelized. And I add in a teaspoon of salt, because if you put salt on the onion, it brings out the sweetness of it. And I don't know, but it like makes your food tastier if you put a little bit of salt while you salty the onion. And then when it's ready, I'm going to put my garlic in. I don't know, but every time I saute the onion or the garlic, if they both comes together, I normally saute my onion first, because for me onion, it takes longer and it makes the food more aromatic than you put the garlic first. I don't know. I think it's in a certain way, like it's up to you, your ideas, how you're going to cook your meal. So now our onion is ready. It's about time for us to put our garlic in. Every time I saute the onion and the garlic, I normally put the onion first, because I don't know, but for me it gets more aroma, and then I put the tomato in. So then you stir it, fry until the tomato just soft enough, but not to really overcook it. So in between that period, I put another teaspoon of salt again when I put the tomato on it, and then saute it again for just like a short period until it get really, not really too soft, but just soft enough to brings out the taste of the tomato, the acid or whatever. And then it's about time for us to put the green beans, which I set aside earlier, but don't pour in the salt in it. Just take the beans out and just fry it until just like few minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes, just to get all the flavors around. And then it's about time for us to put the pork ribs. This is the quickest way of cooking green beans with pork ribs or whatever meat you're going to put in. But I think I help you find the ideas how to cook the green beans. It's like quicker, because normally other people, when they cook this kind of dish, they boil the green beans first, and then they refry, and then they fried it again when you put all those meats and everything. But for me, it's like, I don't know, it just comes out to my idea that fry the green beans and the pork ribs together, and then when you boil it together, when the pork rib is ready, that your green beans as well is ready. So it kind of just like kill two birds in one stone. It's like the quickest way. I just fry it until all the flavors get combined, and then I don't put a cold water. I normally put a boiling water from the pot. So I get ready my boiling water in a heater to make my I think in that way it helps you as well make the food cooks quicker when you're using a hot water rather than using a tap or a cold water. So just pour enough water for you to get everything get ready on time, and it's just enough, not too much, because otherwise your soup will get really watery, or your dish. So just cover it, but I don't lock it because otherwise it pressurizes, and I don't like the food to get pressurized. So now it's ready. See, that takes only for like half an hour, 40 minutes of boiling it. So I add a little bit of water because I think my cooking the beans and the pork ribs, the sauce is thick. So, but then later on I still need to put some bitter gourd and some vegetables. So that's how it goes now. So I put in my bitter gourd, and I just stir a little bit, because I don't want my bitter gourd to get really overcooked, because otherwise it won't be nice. So then I put my spinach leaf on it. Yeah, and that's it. It's easy, pretty well and done.